going to preach, because I'm not a preacher, but I'm going to teach. That's my calling. That's where God has me, so that's what I'm going to do. So what better way to teach than to have a PowerPoint presentation for you guys? Remember back in school, you had a PowerPoint presentation, and you're like, really? And then they would just read what they wanted you to hear, and you're like, I can read. Like, if you were just going to give me that information, I can read it right there. I love that. When I go to this week's training at school, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to see a lot of PowerPoint presentations and a lot of presenters just reading off of their PowerPoint. I'm not going to do that. I just put up here some really cool things that I thought would resonate in your mind if you saw it, okay? So I just came out of a leadership meeting, or leadership summit, I should say, at our church, and oh my God, it was amazing. There were so many speakers, but the passion that started before that. So today what we're going to talk about is passion, and as you can tell, it says it up there, and it's going to be passion and leadership. And these past couple of months, I had to attend a Google Summit. It was a summit for teachers. Not every teacher got to go. It was 2 teachers per campus, and it was $500 to attend that summit, and my principal said, you know what, I want you to go. So I said, oh, awesome. So when I went, I thought they were going to teach me all about technology, but when I got there, actually, they were teaching me a lot about my inner self and how to take care of myself, and how a teacher and educator has to be good on the inside in order to be able to project things on the outside. And I thought, wait, I thought I was going to learn Google stuff. You know, that's what I thought. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Are we getting church in here? And somebody came, they brought people from we had a Canadian speaker. I mean, we had people from all over the world. It was amazing. So from there, that's where it kind of started in me, that I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, yeah, I need to start thinking about my inside before I start going back to work and everything like that. And then I went to a prayer and breakfast thing that they were having. Her name is Dana Boyd. She's actually Texas Principal of the Year. She got Texas Principal, very successful woman. She's such a role model, and she is a Christian, and so she's not afraid to show it. And so she invited all educators from all over El Paso to go and to a prayer breakfast before school started. And she invited some very top-notch people in the education system that walked in that I felt like a little kid. Like, you know, in the education system, when you meet people that are kind of high up there, you're like, it's a celebrity. So I'm like, oh my God, Misha's here. You know, she's head of the, you know, this department. Oh my God, I didn't know that person was a Christian. And, you know, you start seeing these people, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. So that was another changing thing for me, was being there and hearing, and I was like, wow, you know, I kind of put my Christianity in a box of church, you know, and even though we're not supposed to, and we know that we're supposed to go out and talk, but sometimes we fall into that, right? We fall into that, oh, well, you know, my friends know I'm Christian, you know, the people around me know I'm Christian, but you don't really think about expanding that any further. So today, I'm going to be just kind of talking about leadership and passion. And so when I was thinking about going to this leadership summit, it was a very expensive summit. I didn't have money, and my director at the church, because I'm a leader of the kids group, told me, I want you there. And I said, I don't have $150 to pay for this summit, and let alone another $150 for my husband. Sorry, I can't go. And I even thought, well, I'm not a leader. You know, they call me a leader, they put that as my title. I don't feel like a leader. I'm a leader over an assistant principal. That doesn't make sense in my world of outside of my job, you know, because my job, that's my leader. That's someone who's above me in my payroll. And in my leadership over there, I'm above him, and it feels weird. So for them to tell me leader, I'm like, I'm not a leader. I'm just a person. I'm not a principal. I'm not a pastor. I'm not this. Why would you want me there? And so she said, I want you there. And when I was there, it was kind of out of my element, but they said, you know, I thought about it, we are leaders. Every single one of us are leaders because we're Christians. And so we are leaders of our world. We're leaders of our people. We're leaders of the people that we work with. We're leaders. It doesn't matter the job titles. We're leaders. It doesn't matter if in the Army, Victor is a leader, but it doesn't matter that his superiors are leaders to him. In Christianity, he is the one that is supposed to be the leader in his job. You know, those of you that are in school, you know, there might be seniors, freshmen, people in the NHS club, people that are in the, you know, all of these different clubs. They're the MBAs of all the sports and all these things, but it doesn't matter because you're the leader over them, because you are the Christian. You are the person that's supposed to be leading. You know, I love that, you know, my brother-in-law, we're calling him brother-in-law, but my brother-in-law, he's in football this year, and he said, oh, I'm going to be practicing with the sophomores, and I'm like, oh, cool, and he's like, but I'm a freshman, so they give me a hard time, and I'm like, hey, praise God, it doesn't matter because he's a leader, and it doesn't matter what position you're in, it doesn't matter if you feel like your title is not a leader, you're a leader, you're someone who's guiding people. So this was something that resonated with me. It said, leadership is not presiding over people. That's not leadership. That's not, I'm in charge of you, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to make you do this, and I'm going to make you do that. Leadership is taking people from here to there with passion. And it doesn't matter here or there where. It's like here to there. In your work, if it's taking them from here to there and helping them in their prayer life, helping them, praying for them, being an example to them, adding value to them, then that's what you're doing at your job, right? If you are, and this is taking it to another level, if you are a leader in your job, then even more so, you can take it to another level because you really are not only in charge of them on their paychecks, but you're in charge of them spiritually. And I know some people don't like to cross that line because they're scared, because they say, well, religion and this doesn't happen, but God can make it happen. I've seen it happen. This lady, Dana Boyd, she has prayer meetings with her teachers every morning. She got in trouble. And she's supposed to be this person that's representing the Texas principals. And she said, you know what, that's okay, we'll pray across the street. That's all right. We'll pray across the street. And so she takes her teachers and she prays across the street, and it doesn't matter. It's funny because I always think, well, no, my kids, I can't pray with them at school. It's not supposed to be like that, and I can't do that. But you know what? This year I'm like, no, why? I had talked to another teacher that was a fourth grade teacher. She said, I pray with my kids every morning. She goes, whatever comes to me, whatever happens, whatever they tell me, I'll go under man's rule, but it's better to just do it and ask permission later. Or how do they say it? Like, it's better to do it now and say sorry later than to ask permission, right? And so she said, that's what I did. I'm like, wow, right? Even with the teachers at school, nothing holds me from telling them about God. And they know that I'm Christian. But what's to say that I don't say, hey guys, whoever walks in the morning before we start class, do you guys want to pray in my classroom? Or hey, before we start class, do you guys have anything you want to lift up? And there's other teachers in my school that are Christian that I know they're Christian. But yet we keep ourselves in these boxes, and it's just weird to me. I haven't even started with my notes, I'm sorry. So, sometimes we lose a passion for the things that we have. We lose passion, and we lose passion for God. We lose passion for church. We lose passion for ministries. We lose passion for jobs. We lose passions for hobbies. We lose passions for our spouses. We lose passion, right? And we lose it without even realizing how we've lost it in the first place. And that's what's hard, And so we think to ourselves, well, who is supposed to fill my passion bucket? They used an example at the summit about a bucket. I'm thinking of your passion, and it's saying, whose job is it to fill that bucket? And sometimes we think it's other people's job. Well, it's pastor's job. He's the head of the church. Well, it's my principal's job. She's in charge of me. Well, it's my manager's job. It's his company. Well, it's my mom's and dad's job. They're my parents. Well, it's this. We're always waiting to see who's going to fill our bucket. But you know what they said? They said, it's your job. Yes, it's your job. It's nobody else's job to fill our bucket. It's your own. And he said, especially people in leadership. He said, pastors, whose job is it? It's your job. You're encouraging other people, right? Managers, people in lead kid ministries, things. It's your job because nobody else is going to be able to give it to you either way. And so they said, we need to think about the things that, motivate us, right? And sometimes the speed of life is like going, right? And so this next slide is about, they showed this at the summit and I thought it was awesome. So they showed two lines, and they said this, I thought some humor would be funny. I said, I know right now, go back, the one after this? No, back. Sorry, I usually have a clicker at school. Joey's my clicker too. I know some of you are looking at me right now, and you're like, who do you think you are? Telling me how to run my biz, right? Some of you guys are like, where did Jennifer come from, and why is she telling me this stuff? But you know what? I really got stirred, and so that's where it comes from. But anyways, next one. And this is actually how I am all the time at work. You guys just don't get to see that. Okay, so here. The first line is talking about the speed of life. The speed of life. And the second line is representing our soul. And sometimes we assume that our soul and our speed of life are going at the same distance. So if we're going like 120 miles per hour, we're assuming that our soul is also going 120 miles. If we're going, whatever it is, and the speed of life is work, kids, church, your jobs, extracurricular activities, bills, money, accomplishments, anything like that is your speed, okay? Your soul is what needs reading, praying, self-reflection, faith walk, and self-motivation. And sometimes we think that they're at the same speed, and little do we know is that this is where our soul is, and sometimes it's even going down, and yet the speed of our life is just continuing on and on and on and on. And so I want you to think about for a second, what are some things, or where are some times in your life where you've been motivated? You had that passion. Think of a moment when you were like, yes, I'm going to do this, like I'm so ready, I'm ready. Like I can imagine this is the way any NFL player, any person that goes out on the stage and starts boxing somebody, or anybody who has to do anything feels, right? I took a second to think about these things, and I really reflected, and I said, when are times where I felt the most passion for something? One of them was finishing college. At that moment, I had a passion to finish. I was like, I'm almost there. I have a passion. I'm going to finish this. I put too much time, too much money, too much sweat. I'm going to finish. That was one. Man. Another one was getting saved, right? At that moment that I found out that Jesus Christ loved me and he saved me and he forgave me, I had passion. Man. I was like, oh, I'm saved. Getting the new building at our church, the first one that they had ever opened, I had passion at that moment, because I remember thinking, oh my God, we're not going to be in the living room anymore, and it's not going to be 4 of us. We're going to be more people. And I remember seeing the tiny classroom, and I was like, oh my God, I can do something in here. And so I had a passion at that moment. Getting married, I had a passion because I said, oh, I met this man, I'm going to build a life with him, we're going to do all these things together. I had a passion. Having my first child, I had a passion because this little human being was depending on me, and I was going to be the person that led her in life. And my first teaching job, I had a passion because, it was the first time I was going to impact lives. And so I thought about this, and I said, okay, so why were these times that I was so passionate? What was different? And I thought, it was new. I was entering something new, and I was not knowing the outcome. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't have all the answers at any of these points in my life. Finishing college, I didn't know what was going to happen. Getting saved, I didn't know what to do. All I know is that God loved me. Building the new church, I didn't know where they were going to go from them. Getting married, I had no idea I was going to end up with Joey Lee Cabral. Getting my first teaching job, I did not know what to do. And so all of these things that I started my passion about, they were things that I was entering something new, and I didn't know where it was going to go. And let's think about this. Think about your daily life. Are you re-imaging yourself? Are you growing? Or have you just stopped? In any aspect of your life, as a spouse, as a parent, as a leader, in your job, at the church. And I separated church, God, and ministry into 3 different things. I didn't put them all under umbrella. And the reason why is because they're all different. Having passion for God is number 1. Having passion in church is another thing. And then having passion in your ministry is something completely different. Right? Amen. I didn't think of them as all one. So, and if we stop growing, you're not living. And I like this next slide. It says, if most people don't live their life, they accept their life. And that's a lot of the times what happens to us. We're accepting our circumstances. Well, I'm not like her, or I'm not like him. God didn't give me their abilities. God didn't give me the way they speak, or the way they talk, or the way they look, or the things that they do. God didn't give me that. And that's not true, because it says God made us in his image. And I was just talking to my kids at the Sunday school last week about making God in his image. We're talking about obedience right now. And I was like, guys, what do you think about when it says making us in our image? And I love kids because they're like, they made us look like him. Like, he made us like him. And I'm like, yeah, he did. I said, but in that case, we would all kind of be the same. And then they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, because if